Hopefully, some of this stuff isn't repeat, but as we go along, if you have any questions, just drop them into the chat box, and Jarell is going to be monitoring those. So I'm going to mostly be going over Instagram stories, but I'm also going to be going over how to use publishing tool on Facebook to schedule out social media posts, which is going to be really helpful if you go out of town, or if you want to post over the weekend and you kind of want to step away from work a little bit. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to actually get started with the Facebook publishing tool. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Okay, does it look, can you guys see everything?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So, oops, let me go over. Nope, that wasn't it. Where? There we go. Okay, so when you first go into Facebook, let me minimize this. So when you first go into Facebook, I was in.
May I ask you something? So if I don't understand, should I say something? Normally I would just be quiet.
No, I would just drop something in the chat box.
Okay.
And Jarell will stop me.
We are recording this and it's going to be going on to our webinar page. So we really want to make it like a presentation.
I'll be quiet.
Great.
Okay, so this is what you're going to see when you first log into Facebook usually. So one thing I do want to point out is this publishing tool that I'm talking about. You do have to have a business page to be able to use it. So if you don't have a business page, you need to create one before you can use the publishing tool. So to start out, I'm going to go over to on the right-hand side of the screen where it says Sierra Sotheby's. Obviously, that's our page, so I'm just going to click on that. And so when you at this top bar right here, where it says inbox, events, COVID, manage job, you're going to click the little more drop down menu, and you're going to go down to publishing tools. So when you go to publishing tools, this is kind of where you can see some of your engagement and your just some of the insights on your page, but we're not going to worry about that today. So on the left-hand side of the screen where it says tool, you're going to go to Creator Studio. So this is actually where you go to publish and schedule posts. So I publish and schedule all of our posts from here, whether I'm posting it right away or whether I'm scheduling it for another time. I just like it here because it's cleaner and you can publish to Instagram and Facebook at the same time. So if you see up here where my cursor is, right now we're in Facebook, but if I click on the little camera image, it's going to take me over to Instagram. So you can kind of toggle between both and schedule your post out there. So I'm just going to kind of walk you guys through how I would post something and just the steps that I would take when I post something to Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is, so we have all these great new virtual solutions, all this, it's on the portal, it's called Virtual Solutions, and it's in our Dropbox, and it has all sorts of social media graphics, blog posts, all these different types of things. So I'm going to actually use one of those to post right now. So on the top left-hand corner, I'm going to go to create a post. And you can see here, it kind of gives you some options, and I'm just going to go to create a post because I'm not going to be doing a video. I'm not doing multiple videos, kind of self-explanatory. So just go to create a post. And as you can see, it brings over here. And this is just the same thing that you would kind of see on your normal page. What's right here, the create a post. But to me, it just is easier because it's bigger and it's cleaner and it's easier to see. So I can go, what's on your mind? So I'm actually going to be sharing this blog post right here from Sotheby's, 5 ways to keep your mind and body healthy while working from home. So when you go over here, you can kind of just decide what you want to put. So I'm just going to copy this exact title. So I just copy it. I'll go back to Creator Studio, paste it in there, and then I'll say, click here. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this blog post, the URL, so I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to take it over here into Bitly. Now, Bitly is what we use not only to track how much engagement how many people are clicking. You can also see on here, you can see what day they clicked on it. And you can also, if you go down here, you can see where people are clicking on it. from. So this is a good tool not only to make your URLs look cleaner and shorter, but it's also a good way to track how many people are clicking on each link. So I'm going to go up here to the top right hand side where it says create. I'm going to paste the URL in and then create. And you can add a title if you want. You don't have to. I'll just say healthy mind and body. So I'll click save. I'll copy the link and I'll go back over to Creator Studio and just paste that link in. So if you want, it is going to bring in the first image that is on the blog post, but I don't usually like keeping these in here. I don't really think they look as nice as they could. So what I'm going to do is just click the X. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to go to share a photo. So I actually already downloaded the, I thought I did. I actually already downloaded the images. So sorry, I thought I opened it, but I guess I didn't. Whoops. Okay, so, oops, that's actually the story. So I need the post. Sorry about that. I thought I had already downloaded it. Maybe I didn't. Okay, well, then I'll go over to the virtual solutions and grab it from there. So as you can see on here, we have it divided into stories and social media posts. So I'm actually going to show you guys how I would use them separately. So right now I'm just going to go to the social media post. And what's this one? Oops, okay. So I'm actually going to go back and download the entire file here. So download. Oh my God, I did the wrong one. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so now I have the images. So I'm going to go back over here, click share a photo, go to my downloads. Oh, it's in the zip form, that's why. There we go. Hello, why is it opening? Must be behind. Hold on, sorry guys. I don't know why it's not showing up. Healthy. Well, it should be on there. I don't know why it's not bringing it up.
Maybe try copying all the images from your Finder and pasting it somewhere else.
Okay, I found them. Okay, sorry guys, that was weird. So for Facebook, I'm just gonna take this first image instead of posting all of the ones. So if you go in here, you can see we have several different photos and each one has a different little tip. But instead of posting all 5 to Facebook, I'm just gonna post the first one and take them to the blog post. Because on Facebook, you can only really show up to 4 images at a time without losing some of those. So I just put the first one, link it to the blog and keep it really simple. So if I felt like this was good, ready to go, I could just hit publish and it will immediately go to Facebook. But I'm going to actually click this little drop down bar and I'm going to hit schedule. And this is how you can choose if you want to schedule your post for a different time. So I'm going to keep it as today, but maybe I want to post it later in the evening. So we'll do 5 p.m. And this, when you decide how you want to post, so one thing I would recommend is how often are you posting? I would spread them out at least 2 or 3 hours if you're posting multiple times in one day. And also how often what time your audience is on Facebook is also something you want to take into account. So I'm going to do that for 5 o'clock today and just hit schedule. So now if I go over to content library, I can see everything that's been posted to our Facebook, but you can see right here it says schedule. So you can see that you have that post scheduled to go out today at 5 p.m. If you had multiple people on your page, like multiple admin, you can see who scheduled it. And yeah, so this is a really handy little tool if you're going out of town, or if you want to post over the weekend. If you just want to wake up on Monday and just schedule out all your posts for the week, this is really beneficial. So now I'm going to hop over to Instagram. So the only reason I didn't schedule that post for Instagram and Facebook, sorry, it disappeared, is because I added the link. So as you guys should remember from our last social media training, you can't add live links to Instagram captions because they're not able to be clicked. So the only difference I'm going to make, so now I'm over on Instagram side, I'm going to go to the left-hand side and hit create post. I'm going to do Instagram feed. The only reason you would use IGTV is if you were posting a video longer than 60 seconds, you would have to use IGTV. And then you can see, obviously, I have two accounts, my personal and my business. If you just have one, like if your personal Instagram is your business profile or business page, then you wouldn't have two options. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Let's see. Oh, whoops. I thought I had the, well, get out of here, control panel. Sorry, my control panel's in the way. So I'm going to just do the same thing, copy this, go back over to Creator Studio, paste it in there. And then instead of like adding the link, like click here for more, I'll say click the link in our bio for more details. And then I always add a location no matter what I'm posting, even if it's not a property, just because adding locations makes it another way for people to be able to find you. So I always recommend adding it. So a lot of times if it's just a generic post like this, I'll do Lake Tahoe because that kind of encompasses all of our offices. And then a lot of times I'll be like, okay, maybe I should add a hashtag. So I'll do like hashtag Sierra Sotheby's, hashtag staying healthy, or whatever you want to do. Or I'm actually going to use in this together because this is actually a hashtag that Sotheby's International created for those kind of themed posts of, you know, we're all in this together, we're, you know, trying to stay healthy, trying to get through this. So anytime I use something created by Sotheby's International, I always use that hashtag in this together. So I'm going to go back to add content. You're just going to hit from file upload. You can go to your Facebook page, but because what I posted isn't live yet, it wouldn't show up there. Okay, so I'm just going to click this one, make sure it's the right one, and looks good. Over here on the right-hand side in advanced settings, if you wanted to turn off commenting, like if you didn't want to accept comments, you could do that here. You can also go in on these little buttons on the actual picture itself. You could tag someone. So I could tag Sotheby's Realty since it's something they created. If you wanted to crop the image, you could do that here. And then if you didn't like this image, you wanted a different one, you could delete it as well. So same thing, I'm going to go over to the right hand side and go to the drop down menu next to publish and click schedule. And I'm going to schedule it for the same time. So May 7th, that's today, and then 5 p.m. And if you weren't ready to schedule it, like if you just started it, but you didn't want, you know, you weren't done or you wanted to get a different photo, you could always save it as a draft as well. So we'll hit schedule. Okay. And so now you can see at the very top, you'll see this one that is scheduled and what time it's scheduled. And this is kind of a cool little thing, just this front menu, just so you can see how many likes and comments each of your posts is getting. How many people are engaging with it, all that good stuff, but we'll go over that a different day. So do we feel good about, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even finish the last thing. So once I schedule this, and if I was to post it, I also need to go and add our link to our link tree. So Linktree, I think I've explained this before, but Linktree is what we use on our Instagram page in lieu of using just one individual link. So right here on our main page of Instagram, you can see right here, Linktree. And this is how we get away with having more than one link in there, because in your profile, you can't have several links. You can only have one. So instead of going into our Instagram profile and changing it every single time I upload something, I just add it to our link tree. So I'll just go to add a new link. And the thing is, so over here, it gives us a little preview. So you do have to make sure that you're not making it too long. This one's pretty long, but it will actually cut you off at a certain point if it's too long. So I'm pretty sure this will fit in there. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure this will fit. So I'll copy that again, go back over to our link tree, enter it, and then you have to, I'll go back over to Bitly, copy that link, and then just paste it in here. And as soon as you have a title and a link, you'll see it show up over on your link tree. And that's the simple way to get around not being able to add live links to a caption photo on Instagram. So any questions about scheduling posts using Bitly or using Linktree?
Yeah, if you're going to be scheduling them both separately, why would you schedule them both at the same time?
Because on Facebook you can add the link and on Instagram you can't.
No, scheduling the posts at the same time, Facebook and Instagram. Like, is there scenarios where you would schedule them at different times?
Yeah, I mean, if you are really trying to dive deep into your social media marketing and you want to look and see, okay, well, there's more people on my Facebook at this time and more people on my Instagram at this time, then you can schedule them at different times.
So that would be the scenario that you would use if you want to schedule them separately, is you would look at your analytics and see the time people are on there the most.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else about Bitly, Linktree, or using the publishing tool?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go over to Instagram on my phone. Sorry. Okay, is everyone seeing my Instagram? Okay, so when you first log into Instagram, this is your feed. So we should all know the difference between our feed and our profile, but just to recap, your feed is what you see the people you are following. So you can see what they posted, and then your profile is what you've posted. So the little house at the bottom. So if I scroll to the very top of Instagram, you can see the little bubbles at the top. Now those are stories. So the one on the very left-hand side with our logo is obviously our story. You're always going to have your own little bubble there first, because it'll be there. You always want to see yours first. So if I were to click on it right now, you would see our story. So I'm going to quickly explain the two different scenarios that I would use stories for. So I post every single thing I post to our feed. So anything I post right here, I will always add it to our story, because that's giving people two chances for them to see it. Oh, is it frozen? Or can you still see it?
I can see it.
Is it moving at all?
No.
Okay, I don't know why it just froze. Dang it. Okay, let me restart. Sorry. Okay, so now we're back. Oh God, sorry, I keep getting pop-ups on my screen. Okay, so when I'm on my feed, I will always post it to my story, because that's giving people two different chances to see it. So maybe they're scrolling through and they didn't see it, but a lot of times people will click on their stories and they'll see it that way. So you can see as I'm clicking through stories, it's just taking me down the line. So there is no algorithm for stories. Stories are just categorized by chronologically. However, your feed is giving you an algorithm of what they think you want to see. So that's why I'll post it both places. And you can see the live, so that one that's Veranda Magazine is going to stay there. So anything that's live is going to stay at the front. So that's another benefit if you're ever doing a Instagram live open house, that people would see it as soon as they clicked on their Instagram app. Anyways, okay, so now I'm going to go over how I share these posts to our story. So we'll just click on this one. So this is the extraordinary property of the day I posted today. So if you look underneath where it says view insights, you'll see the heart, the little talking bubble, and the little airplane looking guy. You're going to click the little airplane, and then the very first one says add post to your story. So as soon as I do that, you can see it brought up the photo. And if I were to click on the photo, it would add in the beginning of the caption. So it's kind of up to you whether you like the look of it this way or this way. So one cool thing you can do, so do you guys see at the very top, there's kind of the download button, a little hyperlink button, a kind of smiley face, and then a kind of little squiggly line right next to the A. So if I click that little squiggly line, this is actually a pen tool. But if I go to the bottom left-hand side of the screen where there's a dropper, you can click so it'll give you the availability to click any color on the screen. And a lot of times, so I kind of like, let's say, we'll go with this color. If you hold down, if you hold down the pen tool, you can see it'll actually change the color of the background. So let's say I didn't like that one. Maybe we'll try this one. So it's kind of up to you if you want to personalize the way they look, make them look different. That looks pretty nice, I think. So we'll click done, and you can, so if you touch the photo and hold it down, you can actually move it around the screen. So, and you can also make it smaller. You can make it bigger. Just kind of deciding how you like it. I think the photo should always be in the center of the screen because you want that to catch everyone's attention. So, and one thing I really like to do is mixing fonts. So if I just click on the screen, I'll say new listing. And at the very top where it says modern, that's where you can choose different fonts. Now, unfortunately, you can't upload your own fonts to Instagram, but you can kind of play around with however you think looks best. Oops, sorry. So one thing I like to do, I like this font, and if you see the little lines, you can change your justification that way. And then next to that, you can actually add kind of this boldness. So if the picture was kind of busy, maybe you want to bold it. That way I just changed it if you just click it. So if you keep pressing the A, it'll give you different options, and you can go and use this dropper tool again and change the color you want it to be. So if you want it to stand out.
How did you get the dropper tool?
So when I'm actually when I'm texting, so if I click, so to edit your text, all you have to do is click the text with your finger. And then to change the color, so you can change it down here by just clicking these colors, but to get the dropper tool, you just press it, the little dropper tool instead of a color. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so another thing I always do when I'm creating stories is I will add the location. I add a location when I'm creating an Instagram post or when I'm doing an Instagram story because, again, it's giving people more ways for you to find you. So on the search page of Instagram, there actually is a way where you can search stories by location. So it's just giving you more, it's like boosting your post even more. So, I'm sorry, excuse me. To add a location, you're just going to click the little smiley face, and you can see here there's a lot of options. So right here is location, so it's going to search nearby automatically, but let's say I'm in Reno and this listing's in Tahoe City. I can just start typing it in, and it'll bring up all these different locations. This listing isn't in Tahoe City, it's in Reno. So I'm just going to add in Reno. And you can see there's all these different options. So I usually just do like Reno, Nevada. And then to change the way this looks is you just tap on it. So you can't choose the color. You can only use the colors they have. I usually just go with this plain clear one. I think it looks the cleanest. But I kind of like to play with like the juxtaposition. So you don't have to just have it like dead on in the center, you know. You can, I kind of like to do it like something like this. You know, it kind of just depends how you like it to look. And then I always add in hashtags as well. So to add more text, I'm just going to tap the screen. I'm going to press hashtag, and then we'll just do Reno. Oops. So you can see at the bottom, you're always going to want to make sure you use one of these because those are the top hashtags that they have. So I'm going to click Reno, and then I'm just going to do another hashtag. So hashtag Sierra Sotheby's. And then if I wanted to do another one, hashtag homes for sale. I mean, I don't add a lot of hashtags on these stories, but I'll just add a few. And then I don't really like the way hashtags look on the screen. So one way I go around it is I'll put it right on top of the photo and then just click the photo. And as you can see now, it's bringing the photo to the front. So the hashtags are still there. I'm just hiding the hashtags behind, I'm just hiding it behind the photo. So I don't get too crazy with the design. I like it to look pretty clean. But you can add in, so if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to tag an agent in it, you can say let's see if Yvette, at Yvette Shipman. And now, and then just again, to change that, I just tap the text. And I can say, like, if this was Yvette's listing, I could, you know, put it under here, or, you know, say like presented by Yvette Shipman. And the reason why I would do this at and tag you is because then people can actually, if someone was looking at the story, they can actually click on this little sticker of Yvette, and it'll take them to Yvette's profile. So let's say I didn't want to do that, or I tagged the wrong person and I wanted to delete something. All you have to do is hold down. So I'm moving it around. And all you have to do is hover it over the trash can, and it'll get deleted.
I want to touch on hashtags real quick. So can you tell us what the point of adding them but then hiding them is?
So I like to hide them because I think it makes it look more clean. You don't have to hide them, but the reason I add them is just, again, it's another search tool. So adding them to your post is just the same as adding them to your story. There are specific hashtag stories. Like, so for instance, last week, I used a hashtag Matterport on one of these, and we actually got like 10 other people who don't follow us to see it because onto the hashtag Matterport story on Instagram.
Okay.
So it's just a way for people who don't follow you to see your content.
And I think
same thing about adding these locations.
And I think that is, people don't know you can hide the hashtag and it still works, because you definitely see people putting hashtags on their stories, and it takes up half.
And I mean,
half the screen.
And I think in stories, like, no one's going to spend 10 minutes looking at your story. Stories are supposed to be quick. So each story only shows itself for 10 seconds. And it's only there for 24 hours. So it's just meant to be a quick little snippet. And so what I'm trying to do is get people who maybe would have scrolled past this to be like, hey, here's our listing. And so the cool thing about using it that I already posted is this becomes a live picture link. So if someone's scrolling through here and they're like, oh, that's a nice house, they can actually click on here after I posted it and go to that post. So I'll show you what I mean. So before I end this kind of story tutorial, I'm gonna come back and show you guys how I would use it a different way. But this is how I mostly use it when I've already posted something to my feed and now I'm posting it to my story. Does this all make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna exit out of this. So real quick, I'm going to say keep. So just so you guys are aware, once you're ready, this looks good, you think it looks nice, you're going to go click here to send to at the bottom, the bottom right-hand side.
Real quick,
it says send to.
Taylor, will you show how you hid the hashtag?
Yeah. So all you have to do is move these around. So I could move anything on top of anything. So all I did was, let's say this was on top, right? The picture's there. I created my hashtags. All I did was put it on top of the picture, and then you just tap the picture and the picture comes forward. So anything I'm using can be hidden by tapping things forward. So let's say, we'll move this around. So I want this back. This is already, so it's all about moving things around where you want it.
Great.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to go back. So just so you guys can visualize, I already posted, so this one I posted today. I already posted that one to our story. So you can see here, your listing, Reno. If I were to move this picture, I can't because I already posted it. There are hashtags on there as well. And so see how if I tap on the screen, it says see post, and it takes me to the post. So this is why I say don't add a bunch of text to the screen, because you want the picture to be the main focal point. Does everyone see how that works?
So can you make a story from one of the scheduled posts if it hasn't posted yet?
No, it has to be posted on your profile to be able to do what I just did. However, if you had a photo, which I'm going to show you guys right now, there's one other way that I would post things to Instagram. Or post things to the story, sorry. So I'm going to go back to the little home button on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, and I'm going to click the little camera on the top left-hand side of the screen. So as you can see, hello, I can take a picture of myself if I want, take a picture of anything around me, or I can go down here. Whoops, that was not what I wanted to show. Hold on. Sorry, I was saying my picture. So I thought I saved those story posts. Hold on real quick. Let me find those. So I realized something that happens on Instagram. So I went and saved those Instagram story from Virtual Solution, those 5 ways to stay healthy. I saved them to my phone, but one thing I've noticed with Instagram is it adds them chronologically according to when they were created. So that's why it's not showing up first, because they were created, a few weeks ago. So in my camera roll, they're going to whenever they were created. So let me try and find those again. Sorry. Oh no. Where did they go?
So Yvette asked, how did you link the story to the post? And I responded back in text that you went to the post and you created the story from the post. That's why it knows to go back to that post.
Correct.
So
if you were just
that if something's already posted, but if it's not posted, you have to create a custom story like you're going to do right now. You won't be able to link it back to a post.
Yes. So sorry, I can't find it. So I'm just going to go take a quick screenshot so I have something to add on. Okay. So let me go back to sharing. Come on. Okay. So yeah, Yvette, just to show you real quick. So when you're on your feed, you use this little, so next to the heart and next to the little comment bubble, there's a little airplane, and that's how it knows that it's that post. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the home screen, go back to the little camera. So I just quickly took a screenshot. I was going to show you how I would use the Instagram stories, the ones from the Virtual Solutions page, but it's okay. It doesn't matter either way. So this is just how another way you can use a story. So let's say you scheduled something to be posted tonight, but you don't have time, or you might forget to add it to your story. So all you have to do is, let's say you had the property photos in your camera roll, you would just click it. So that's how I did it. I just chose a photo from my camera roll, And then you can do the exact same things that I was just showing you. So right now I'm just using 2 fingers to like zoom in, zoom out. You can give it a little more white space if you want more room to write text. There's a lot of different things. So the only thing is, now that it's just a static photo, there's not going to be anything for them to press on. So I would recommend, like I always say, like adding in your location. So Reno, sorry, this is a really bad photo. I should have added a property photo or something. So let's just pretend all that junk up there isn't there. But yeah, so you could do exactly the same things. I like Instagram because they have these, so if you go to the little smiley face, they have these tools. So you can see there's like gift card, food orders, location, mention, hashtag, challenge. You can add a little poll. So I like using these polls, but very sparingly. I wouldn't use them every single day, but this is just a fun way to engage with your audience. So you can say like, have you ever been to Reno? Yes, no. And so it doesn't have to say yes or no. You can say, yes, I love it. Or no, no, but I'd love to. So, and this is just a fun way to add in some more engagement. That's quick, easy way for your audiences to engage with. Obviously, this isn't the correct photo to use this filter with, but one other thing I wanted to point out to you. So how on the last screen I showed you how if I use the dropper tool, and let's say I want to use a color, if I hold it down on the screen, it's going to cover up that photo. So you're not going to want to use that when you're taking a picture from your camera roll. You can only change the background if you're using a photo that you're posting from your that's already been posted on your Instagram. Does that make sense? So you can still go in here and draw. You can still add text the same way you were. So new listing. You can still do all the same things, but that one particular tool that I showed you to change the background, you can't do that when you're taking it from your camera roll.
Well, you can change the background in general, just not to a custom color.
No, you can't change the you can't change the background at all, because it's going to completely cover the photo that you added. So, unless you wanted to get really artsy, and let's say I changed it to here, and then I can, so up at the top here, you see how there's like a pin tool. So this very last one is actually an eraser. So if you wanted to like erase some of the ink and kind of like show the photo, but that's getting kind of artsy and kind of can look cheesy, it's just something you can do if you want. So we'll just hit undo.
Can you do a story with a picture you just took? Like if you go into stories, can you add a picture that way and have a background?
Oh, no. So the only change is if you're posting it from what you already posted. So like if I'm taking the photo that I posted to my Instagram profile, to my Instagram feed, adding it to my story, you can change the background that way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that's all I really wanted to show about Instagram stories. Oh yeah. So now let's go over highlights. Before I leave, is there any other questions regarding stories at all in any way?
Nope.
Okay. So now I'm just gonna discard this. So also, let's say you're at a house currently, and let's see, okay, you guys can see my house. If you're like, oh, I love this, wall, you can always take a picture here and you can do the same things. Adding text, adding any of the hashtags, you can still do that the same way. Okay?
Yep.
All right, great. So now let's go over the difference between stories and story highlights. So what would I keep on my story for only 24 hours, and what would I add to my highlight reel? So for me, the way I kind of try and make it make sense in my mind is if I want it to be something that they can easily find on my story, I'll put it on highlight. So I added one for virtual tours because I want people to quickly be able to go find our profile and say, ooh, what kind of virtual tours are they having? So they can just quickly scroll through and see all the different virtual tours we have. And you can see these are all posts that they already created. So if they're like, ooh, I really like this one, they can click on it, see post, and it will take them to that post. So same thing with videos. Like we want people to be able to quickly go on our Instagram and say, ooh, what properties have videos that I can check out? So this is another way to do that. In this
Can
together.
you explain a little bit of what highlights are?
Yes. Okay. Sorry. So let's go back to our Instagram. So this Instagram story is only going to live on our page for 24 hours. And the reason why I added it to the story is because if people don't see it on our feed, I want them to see it on our story, but it's not something that I need them to see, constantly on our page. But if this was something I wanted to add to my story, like let's say this was a house with a Matterport that I posted as virtual tour of the day, what you can do at the very bottom of the screen, you guys see where the little highlight button is? It's right next to where it says more. Mm-hmm. I'll click on there and you can see it has all of our different highlights that I've already created, and I can add it to one of those. So let's say I wanted to add it to the virtual tour. I would just click it and you can see now it's added to that highlight reel. Does that make sense?
And then it will live there for longer than 24 hours. It will always
forever.
Yes.
It'll live there forever until I want to. So obviously I don't want that on there. So let's say, ooh, I accidentally added it to the wrong highlight reel. All you have to do is click on the highlight reel. On the bottom it says more. You'll say edit highlight. And you can see here, these are all the different posts that I added to my highlights. So this one at the bottom, so it goes in chronological order from the very first one I put on there to the very last. So all I have to do is tap that and click done, and it takes it away. It will no longer be on there. So the cool thing about Instagram, as long as you leave something on your story for 24 hours, you don't go in and delete it, is you actually have every single thing you've ever posted on your story as an archive. So let's say you're wanting to beef up your social media, but you don't have any of these yet. All your to add or to create an Instagram story highlight, all you have to do is click new. And you can see on here, these are everything I've ever posted on our story, right? So let's say you wanted to do a new listing one, or let's see. Okay, so yeah, let's do an extraordinary property of the day. So I can click on anytime I've done one as anytime I've posted something as extraordinary property of the day. And I mean, it goes forever. Like it goes all the way until stories were created. So if you have something we're really proud of and you're like, ooh, I posted that a year ago, you can still add that to your story reel or to your highlight reel. So let's say I only wanted those 4. You'll click next and then you'll name your highlights. So we'll do extraordinary property, or you can even add a hashtag in. Extraordinary property of the day. And then here on edit cover, that's where it's going to be what people see on your highlight reel. So you can choose one of the images you already have, or you can upload your own image. Oh, there's all of those posts. So I recommend uploading something. So we'll just hit cancel out of this for now. Because as you can see, it just looks a lot cleaner when you just have a little icon. I obviously haven't made one for this one yet. I need to, so it looks cleaner, but they're all just blue, plain. You can tell probably right away what they are from just looking at it. Does that make sense?
And these are ones that you've custom made on your own and uploaded.
Yes. So I made these in Canva. They do have to either be a PNG or a JPEG, but I mean, it doesn't have to. You don't have to make these. It will automatically just take whatever the very first thing on your story is if you don't change it. So for instance, I'll click edit highlight and I'll do edit cover. So I can choose any of these. Maybe for now, I'll just make it like a blue screen or something like that. So yeah, that's how you edit it. So maybe I'll just take this for now since it's kind of hard to like make it look right. Anyways, I'll deal with that later. But do you guys all understand how to change your color? And then, so let's say I created this story highlight and I was like, ooh, I forgot to add something when I posted it. So all you have to do is go to stories and you can add anything you've posted on there. So the ones with the little checks on it already are already on this story. But if you wanted to add something else, you just tap on it and then click done. And now that has been added to the story. Does that make sense? Okay, well, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover.
Oh, sorry,
is there any? Yeah.
Is that a brand new highlight you just made?
I didn't create a brand new highlight. I added something to an existing highlight. Okay. So if I click on here and I click more, so I can edit. Oh, sorry, whoops.
And more so is at the bottom left.
Yeah, bottom left-hand side. Yeah. Okay. And then you can see you can remove the highlight. So if you just want to get rid of it altogether, like, oh, like for instance, once maybe coronavirus is over and we've gotten through all this, maybe I don't really want this as an Instagram story highlight anymore. I can remove it from our page. I can click edit, and that's how I went in and changed what I added. So I can go in and take away the one I already created. So just by tapping on the photo and then click done.
Can you show how to make a new highlight category?
Yeah, so on the left-hand side where it says new, you'll just go in and click whatever stories you want to add. So, I mean, it's kind of up to you. So, like I said, if I wanted to make one that's a, let's see, an open house one, for instance, so people can see all the virtual open houses we're doing. I can just go in and click the ones I've created. So Facebook open house. So I clicked all the different stories I want to be on that open house or on that specific highlight reel. Then at the top right-hand side, I'll click next. Oops. And then this is where you can edit the cover. So it's automatically just taking whatever the first image is. So maybe I want it to just be the Facebook symbol because it's Facebook Live. I'll click done. And then I'll add the whatever I want it to be called. So open house. And then just click add. And now you can see that's added to our highlights. So now if I wanted to get rid of it, remove, or I'm sorry, it's just going to remove each photo. So I'll have to go in. Nope, sorry. I think I'll have to go in and now remove each highlight individually. Remove. Or we'll just click edit highlight, and then I'll just get rid of all these. Delete. So now it's deleted from our page.
And once again, you clicked on the plus button that says new next to the first highlight.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Right. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So like I said, these, sorry, go for it.
Real quick, I know we already passed the stories questions, but you had mentioned to me at one point that the benefit of a business story is it always goes up to the top.
Like, are you talking about over here?
I'm talking about on, yes.
So no, it's not if you have a business page, it's if you're doing a live. So as you can see, the live one is going to stay here for the amount of time as they're doing a live. Okay. So if you're doing that, but yeah, no, as far as the only real benefit of having a business Instagram is one, being able to connect it to your Facebook page. So you can use the publishing tool that I showed you, but also you can see your, so sorry, I did that really fast. So on the top right-hand side, there's these three little lines. Yeah. You can actually see your insights. So you can see how many people are looking at your page, how many people are looking at your stories, all that different kind of stuff. But that's that's a whole nother,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know, that's a whole other thing. But that is a huge benefit of having a business Instagram.
Great.
All right. So I know we kind of covered a lot and it can be kind of confusing. So if you guys have any more questions, Yvette, if you have anything, let me know. I'm always here to help. If you need help creating your Instagram story highlights, I already have the ones I've created. So if you guys need help with any of those, it's pretty easy to do on Canva. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it.
Great, Taylor. Thank you so much. Learned a lot.
All right, guys. Yay. Well,
yep. Join us again next Thursday, 2:00 for social media.
That's right. Social media, 2:00 on Thursday.
Yep.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.